So welcome to our financial aid question and answer session. We're really excited that you guys have joined us. I am Lindsay Miller. I am the Interim Director of Undergraduate Admissions, and I am joined by Mary Kennecke, who is the Associate Director of Student Records and Financial Services. So hi, Mary.
Hi, Lindsay. Hi, everybody. It's good to have you with us.
So we are going to go through we have a couple things planned to go through for you. And then of course, we're going to answer your questions that you may have. But before we get started, I just want to go over a few kind of housekeeping items for you. As you can see, the question and answer feature is at the bottom. It may be at the top of your screen, depending on how you have it set up. But feel free to send in your questions to us and we will definitely answer them as we go through, or definitely at the end. We are recording this, so if for some reason you can't stay with us the whole time, or if you want to access this after this session ends, you will be able to access that right off the webpage, the admissions webpage. And we are going to focus on topics really related to accepted students for this webinar. So students that have been accepted, have gone through the process, and kind of what your next steps will be. Later in the coming weeks this spring, we will do a financial aid overview, which will be more general. But for this session, it will be more geared towards accepted students. And just keep in mind, we really can't answer very specific questions pertaining to your individual financial aid packages. But if you have more general questions, certainly send them in, and we will provide you with the information that you'll need to reach out to us at the end of the webinar to get those real specific questions answered. So Mary, why don't we start? I'm gonna share my screen here, and why don't we start with our timeline for students that have been accepted. Hold on one sec, let me get the right side up here. Start with our timeline, financial aid timeline for accepted students. Do you wanna walk us through that?
Okay, that sounds great. So hopefully a lot of you have done your FAFSA. We recommend that you do that anytime after October 1st. You can file it earlier now. But if you haven't, it's still not too late. We're still giving out financial aid, so there's still plenty of time to file if you haven't. Obviously, the earlier you file, the earlier you find out what kind of financial aid you're going to receive from us. So we draw down the FAFSAs in weekly. So after that, once you've been accepted to the school and we have your FAFSA, then about 2 weeks after that, we will send out your financial aid award package. Right now, we're sending them out via email because we're not in the office, but we're still sending out the full financial aid award package. You'll be able to see exactly what you're going to receive, and then also how much you would be expected to pay with your financial aid awards on there. And so the ones you've chosen to attend Canisius and paid your deposit, then you can accept your financial aid awards on your Canisius portal. So this would be anything like your self-help awards, which are considered to be work study or student loans. And then also we have, and it's important to file the FAFSA because I know some people think they're not going to file it because they're not going to get any aid, but you should always file it, especially your first year, because you never know what you're going to receive in financial aid. And sometimes based on the household situation, if there are more than one in college, you could receive some additional financial aid. And plus, if things happen further on down the line where circumstances change, we need to have that financial aid filed to look at that as well. So once you've filed your financial aid, we've gotten the financial aid award out to you, you've deposited to us, then we may have to do verification. Verification, the government randomly selects about 30% of people to be verified for their financial aid. Sometimes we also self-select people if there's something on the form that just looks a bit confusing to us. It does not mean that you've done anything wrong. Like I said, it's really pretty random. There are some triggers, like sometimes if you've put down you have a lot of income and you haven't filed, that might be a trigger, but most of the time it's just a random. So it doesn't mean you did your FAFSA incorrectly. The government just wants us to verify some information. So typically what we'll do is we'll send a verification form to you via email. It'll have your technician's name on there. We have two financial aid technicians, Margaret and Angela. It'll have their name on there so you can send it right back to them. Most students do it through email, and you can also call them. Typically we'll be asking for something like your taxes. So their FAFSA this year was filed on 2018 taxes. So we are going to be asking for possibly your 2018 taxes, for both the parent and the student. We may ask you to verify household information. We may ask you to verify things like child support. So whatever's on the form will be, you only get the information that we need from you. So whatever we ask you for, that's the information we need for you to get back. So we won't be able to complete your financial aid award if we don't have all that information, so that it will credit to your bill in the fall. If you don't get any verification form, don't worry. You can certainly check with us to see if you should have gotten something, but a lot of students don't get chosen for verification. A lot of students, we can just look at their file, everything looks good, and we put it in the cabinet and you're good to go until the bills run. But if you're concerned, certainly you can always contact us to ask us about that. So then in mid-July, the bills are mailed out to the students. They're usually due around August, just before classes start or the first week of classes. And that's the time in July when you want, if you realize that you're going to need more like additional private loan to help pay for your student account, you can apply for private loans then. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but we do have a website where you can go to called elmselect.com. You can also sign up for payment plans. Your bill will tell you about the various payment plans that are available to you to help spread out your payments throughout each semester, because you do get billed semesterly. So you'll get one bill in July for the fall, and then you'll get another bill in December for the spring semester. And then in August, if you were awarded a work study job, you'll get information about how to obtain this work study job. So typically you will get email directing you to the link. All the available jobs will be listed with all the contact people. And then it would be up to you, just like any other job, it'd be up to you to sell yourself at this interview. And you could talk to the person either in person or by phone. They'll explain what the job is to you, which is a little bit more in depth than what's on the job description that you'll be able to see. And all offices will work around your hours. We understand that you're here to go to classes. So we don't ever want students not to go to classes for their work study job. So all offices will work around their class schedules and hopefully get a schedule that's agreeable to both of you. So that's about the timeline we have, Lindsay.
Awesome, great. All right, so we have had a couple people send in some questions, which we will certainly get to, but we have a couple commonly asked questions that we have prepared. So I think let's start out with a couple of those just to get some general information out there. Mary, the first question that we have is, what additional scholarships are there for students who might be looking to apply for more scholarships, and what are some resources that we can point them to?
Okay. There really are quite a few private scholarships out there, outside scholarships as they're also called. So you can ask, I always tell everybody to ask everybody they know, but you can check with your guidance office. I'm sure you still have contact with them, even though you're doing your work at home right now. As well as we have bought a software program that's called Scholarship Universe. So you can get to this through your Canisius portal since you've been accepted. So through your Canisius portal, you can go and you can fill out a profile. It takes a little bit of time at the beginning. It asks you a lot about your interests, a lot about your academic. And then once you have filled that out, it will automatically match you with different scholarships that are out there that you can apply for. So you can't apply for the scholarships themselves through this portal, but it will direct you to the different sites where you can apply for different scholarships. Also, there are ones, the paperless scholarships, or they're online, or like your parents, your grandparents. I would check all over to see where you might be able to find scholarships. Also, both the federal site, the New York State site, and the federal site will also have a list of scholarships you can apply for through them. So try any avenue you can. The deadlines for some of them will be coming up soon. So if you haven't done that now, and hopefully a lot of you have, I would advise you to start doing that search very quickly so that you will be eligible to apply for any scholarships you might be eligible for.
Great. I know personally when I was graduating from high school, I applied for quite a few in the town I lived in, like the Lions Club, and just different groups and organizations had scholarships. So I always like to tell students, definitely look like in the community where different organizations, like you said, that maybe your grandfather's a part of, or your aunt's a part of, or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
How do students, what's the process for accepting or declining their loans or financial aid? When you hear accept your financial aid, can you walk us through kind of generally what that means? And do they have to accept everything?
Sure. You don't have to accept any grants or scholarships, because we always think that students are going to want to accept their grants and scholarships, so we do that automatically for you. What we do want you to do is accept your loans and or work study, because we want to make sure that you know what you're accepting, and it's either a loan or that you're accepting work and you'll have to work to receive this money. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your student portal. So you're going to sign in with your name and user ID, which was given to you when you were accepted at Canisius. If you don't have it, there's links out there to tell you if you've forgotten your password, or you can also check with our IT help desk to get into the portal. So you're going to go to the portal, go to Student Records and Financial Services, go to the Financial Aid section, the academic year, and then accept your financial aid award. And all this information is also on the back of your award letter that we had sent to you if you applied for financial aid and received awards. So then what you're going to do is you're going to accept your awards, and you can accept or decline either your loans or your work study. You can accept part of each. Once you have accepted part, you can't go back in and change it, but you can certainly let us know in the financial aid office. Or if you declined it and then later on you decide you want to take it, you can also let us know, because once you've done that, you can't get back to it. Another question we have is about TAP, New York State TAP. That is one award that will stay offered on your award. I know it's a grant, and I said you don't have to accept grants, but that is one award that will show as offered, but you cannot accept it. It's tied into the way the program works with New York State. So once we get the roster from New York State for our students, it'll automatically accept that for you. So that is not something you can accept. But your loans and your work, please do. If you don't, we'll send you continual reminders that you haven't accepted or declined your loans or work. So I would encourage you to go in and do that whenever you've decided you're going to attend Canisius.
Great. So I've been watching some of the questions coming in, and two of the questions actually that we have are similar. It looks like maybe two international students. They're asking about, are there any additional scholarships that they can apply for, or any resources you can point them to?
Well, we do award international student or scholarships to our students when they apply to Canisius if they're eligible. There may be some scholarships on the scholarship universe that are for international students. Other than that, I would just, simply you can probably just type in international scholarships and see what comes up. Make sure that they look legitimate. You don't want to ever pay for any scholarship search. You don't want to give out your social security number. So, but you could probably get some general information out there as far as scholarships that are available. We also have a couple endowed scholarships at Canisius that are given to international students. They are awarded by the International Student Office, though. So that's not something that we do. And generally, they go to upper class, but sometimes they go to freshmen as well.
Okay. And again, how do students access that scholarship universe? Is it just the website, or do they access it through our website?
They access through our website through their portal, so canisius.edu.
Right. So accepted students, you should be familiar with your portal, but you have a login and a password we sent to you in your accepted student or in your acceptance packet. And then you can log into your portal and gain access to that scholarship universe that way. So it's a good resource for you that we're providing. Mary, what if a student didn't see work study put in their package? Can they still get work study?
Yes, you can also appeal to us and ask us if they're eligible for a work study. Federal work study is based on your financial need and also how we package our individual students. But if you haven't got it and you think you might be interested in it, please let us know. We can review you to see if you would be qualified for it. It never hurts to ask. Sometimes we are only able to give it to students maybe for one semester, which will usually be in the spring semester. But definitely, if you think you might be interested, you think it's something you want to do, please let our office know and we'll look at your award for you. Okay, we're still awarding it now, so we haven't cut it off or anything. So.
Okay, great. So some students may find that they don't have the means, just available to them to cover the remaining costs to attend Canisius. Outside of the federal loans that they may be offered, can you talk about private loans a little bit? Maybe give some suggestions of where students can find private loans and any tips you can give regarding students taking private loans to cover the remaining costs of their to attend.
So we have a website. Well, we don't have a website. We recommend you go to this website, elmselect.com. We have loans out there that we have vetted, and so that we feel that they're reputable. You don't have to use one of those. You can use any private loan lender you want. We don't have currently any credit unions out there, and some students want to go through their credit unions, and that's perfectly fine. They are very legitimate with their loans as well. But for private loans, the student is the borrower generally, and then they can have a parent be a co-borrower. It can be anybody, but students don't have enough credit basically when they're just coming into school to get the loan on their own, so they would need a co-signer. There are some of the private lenders that also allow parents just to borrow on their own without having the student as the co-signer instead of doing the federal parent loan. And some students do, or some parents do that option as well. Not very many at Canisius. Most of them are the student is the borrower and then the parent's the co-signer. A lot of parents like that because after 4 years, when a student gets out, they can get these deferred while they're in school. But once a student gets out of college, then after they've been paying out for 4 years, the co-borrower can be taken off. So then it's solely their responsibility. So that's why it's popular with many of our parents if they're going to be the co-signer. The rates are going to be variable, obviously, with the interest rates in the country. Sometimes parents can get a better interest rate through the private loan than they can through the federal loan. So that's why parents like to do it. It's the same amount you can borrow. You can't borrow more through one loan through the other. But I would encourage you to look at the different loans out there. There's different terms. Some of them are similar, but some are a little bit different as far as when the co-signer might be able to be released from the loan, or how much you can borrow, or what kind of academic information you have to, your grade you have to keep up to continue to receive the loan. Some have benefits for that, or some have benefits if you have an account with a particular lender. So, you can go ahead and look at the different ones and see which ones appeal to you and then fill it out.
Okay, great. So oftentimes students realize that they may have made a mistake on their FAFSA, or we might alert them that there was something that they needed to adjust on their FAFSA. How long does that process take in terms of after they've made that adjustment? How quickly do you guys get things moving and get them a package to them?
Okay. We draw in FAFSAs once a week. So if you've done the correction, usually it takes about 3 days probably for the federal government to process the correction. So once they've processed it, and then they send the information to us that we draw into our system. And then, like I said, we get those every week, and then we try to do award letters every week as well. So hopefully once you've made the change, within a couple of weeks, you will have an award letter from us as well.
Okay, great. When is the first payment typically due? I think that's usually an important question for students kind of looking forward. Can you give us an idea of a time frame?
Yeah, usually bills are due the week before school or the week of school. So you're looking at towards mid to end of August that the student account will be due. We do give a little bit of grace period after that before we will put on any additional fees to your account. But generally that's when they're due. So it'll be due, say, about a week before classes in August, and then a week before classes start in January, around that time frame. So the bills will go out a month before, so you'll have time to decide what you're going to do, if you're going to take out a private loan or if you're going to do one of the payment plans, because all the payment plan information will be included in your bill. So you'll have a little bit of time to see what you're going to do to pay your bill.
Sure. Can you give us any more information on payment plans? Like are there different types of payment plans? Is there a charge to do a payment plan?
We do a different payment plan. So probably one of our most popular one is the Griffin payment plan, which is spread out over 5 payments. So when you sign up for the plan, you're going to make a payment, and then you'll make a payment like September, October, November, December for the fall, and February through May for the spring. So they're popular in the fact that many parents maybe will borrow some additional loan and also use the payment plan, or maybe some parents have money that they've been paying for high school tuition, and so they're used to doing a payment plan, so they'll just then transfer that to our payment plan. There's a fee, there's a $50 fee for all of our payment plans. So the 5 payment plan is probably the most popular, but then we also have a 2 payment plan where you can make 2 payments each semester. And then we have a 30-day one, because sometimes maybe you did your private loan, but it hasn't come in yet, because they can take a little bit of while because of regulations. There's a mandatory 10-day delay, for example, for all private loans. So then you sign up for this 30-day one, so you don't get the late fee, but then in 30 days, your financial aid is going to come in, or you can make a payment, and then it'll be paid off. But the fee is $50 for all 3 of those, no matter which payment plan you use, and you do have to sign up each semester for them.
Great. So a common question that we get is, sometimes, you know, we're working off of taxes that are from 2 years ago with prior year. And sometimes situations change. What is the advice that you would give to a student who maybe, you know, situations have changed, maybe parents got new jobs? What would you say to a student that's concerned that their 2 years ago, their taxes don't reflect their situation this year?
Yeah, and that happens a lot. I mean, it's nice that they go back 2 years because when you fill out the FAFSA, your taxes are there. But obviously, a lot can happen in a year or 2 years when you're actually starting school. So now, hopefully, you have done your 2019 taxes, or we'll be doing them quite soon. So if it's an income change, then we're going to ask you to send us your 2019 taxes so that we can compare to what the change is from 2018. If for some reason it ends up that it would not benefit you, we will not use that. We will do whichever avenue is best for you. But if something's changed as your job, we will ask for the 2019. If it's still ongoing now, we may ask for unemployment or other documentation that shows what your change is. Maybe you were getting a large amount of some kind of maybe like child support, and now that your child is over 18, and maybe you're not getting that anymore. So we will ask for documentation for that. I know a lot of people are concerned now with the coronavirus and the COVID-19, what they're going to do about 2020, because obviously some people unfortunately have been furloughed. Our stance is now it's still kind of early, and no one knows how long this is going to last. So most people have only been furloughed a couple weeks. So what we're thinking is about in May. Hopefully, we all hope it'll happen. It'll end sooner rather than later. But in May, we'll take a look at those people who have been furloughed and see if there's anything we can do as far as their financial aid at that time. So I would encourage any of you in those situations that you could get your information together. So your last pay stub, if you're entitled to unemployment, once you start receiving that, get the copy of that together, and then you can have it all together. You can send it in to us or hold on to it, and then we'll be able to look at that information. But please let us know if something changes, because the idea of financial aid is we're supposed to look at your situation as best we can for the situation that's going on with you now. So we want to know if things have changed and that would impact your financial aid to help you get more financial aid.
Awesome. So we do have a couple questions in here. The first two questions, they look like they're actually from an international student who maybe is talking about like the verification for like their bank statement and funds. I would suggest that's not really something we can answer here. I will reach out to you. I have your name written down. We will reach out to you with answers to your questions. If you don't hear back from us right away, certainly send us an email to admissions@canisius.edu with those two questions, and we will certainly get you an answer. It looks like also we have another question. It says, could you let us know how much tuition and housing fees were reduced? And Mary, do you remember off the top of your head? I remember this 2 years ago, we had a tuition, we reduced tuition and we reduced housing. I know housing we reduced by $2,000. And then do you remember I can't remember what the overall reduction amount was. Do you remember? I think it was like 11,000.
Yeah, gosh, I'm sorry, I don't remember. It seems like so many years ago now. Sure. So I don't remember exactly what it was.
I'm sure if you,
it went down to like 27.
I'm sure for the person asking, if you do a search right on our website in the search bar, there was a lot of like media surrounding that. Mm-hmm. So we probably have like our press releases and stuff you can actually find right on our website, and you can see what the comparison from 2 years ago, the exact amounts that we reduced, what that was. Mary, anything else you want to add before we kind of sign off here? Do you think we covered a lot of the basis for accepted students at this point?
Yeah, I think we did. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention too is that sometimes you may have gotten your financial aid award as a commuter, and now you're thinking, oh gosh, I've seen the dorms, I'd like to live on campus. So anytime you want us to give you what your award would be as the opposite of what you are, so if you're a commuter and you might want to know resident might want to know commuter, please contact our office. We'll give you a tentative idea what your award would be with the opposite residency option, and that way you can look at that before you make a decision if you want to go one way or the other. But please let us know that. We do those quite a bit. So
yeah, I'm glad you thought of that. That is definitely a common one. Students kind of weighing out what the best option for them is, because you got to take a look at every little detail. All right. And it looks like we also got another question from one of our international students. It says, what's the cutoff date to submit financial documents? I'm assuming that that's probably related to, do you think to the visa or
I-20.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the
So
I-20.
again, we'll get you all that information. I'll send you over to our international admissions counselor. I'll send these questions to her and she'll be in touch with you. I have your name written down. So we will be in touch soon. All right. And I'm also going to just pull up this one. I'm going to, let's see, share my screen one more time with you guys, just so you can see. Let's see here. Can we get, we're already on the screen. All right. If you're looking to contact us, you know, we are here for you throughout the next month, 2 months, 3 months, until the beginning of the semester. So financial aid can certainly talk to you one-on-one about your particular situations, about things that come up, questions that you have, questions that your parents may have. Their information is right here. And then of course, undergraduate admissions is always looking to connect with you. We are eager to connect with you and certainly willing to help you with anything that comes up over the next few months as you either make your college decision or as you get ready to enter Canisius as a new freshman. So you can see our contact information right here. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are not on campus, unfortunately, right now. We are all working remotely, but don't worry, we are monitoring email and we are monitoring our voicemails and all of that. So we certainly are definitely still accessible. Mary, thank you so much for being here today and for answering these questions. And like I said, any students that have questions that come up, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. And hopefully we'll be seeing all of you this fall on campus as new Griffs. All right, everybody have a great night. And thanks for joining us.